Oh, good morning, everybody. This is Mr. T. I am home today because I've got a sick kid here. He's sleeping now, so I'm going to take a few minutes to make a video for you to show you how to do the first exercise for chapter 5, or the fifth chapter, I should say, um, in the book. I want you to read through again lines 1 through 46 to familiarize yourself with the new words that you're going to see here. And then I'd like you to take a shot at exercise 1. Now, what's going on in exercise 1 is we've got subjects and we've got direct objects. We've got subjects and we've got direct objects. And this one is both subjects and direct objects. Now, these four endings are for for masculine nouns like fluvius or cervus or Marcus or anything that is masculine. These four endings right here are for feminine nouns like Julia or Anquila or now Villa. Um, and then these two here are for neuter nouns. Remember oppidum and oppida. So the breakdown is this. These are subjects, these are direct objects. You've seen this, and this so far. This is nominativus singularis, nominativus pluralis, and you've seen accusativus singularis, and now you are seeing this, accusativus pluralis, for the first time. By this, you've also seen this before. That's nominative singular for feminines, nominative plural for feminines, and you've seen accusative singular for feminines, and now we have this new one here too. So this is for plural direct objects. Now for neuter nouns, um, the neuter endings are the same for both subjects and direct objects. This is one of the peculiar things about neuter nouns is that their endings don't change from subject to direct object. So that makes makes it easier but also harder. That means when you're reading a sentence, it's not clear from the ending whether it is a subject or a direct object. You have to get it by context. So keep that in mind. Masculines here, feminines here, these four, and neuters here, these. So for each sentence, just consider whether you need a nominativus, a nominative or a subject ending, or you need accusativus, a direct object ending. So the first one I think should be pretty straightforward. Here, servus abest, the slave is absent or is away. But now we think about the slave, and now the master is doing something to him, namely calling him. So we're going to say Dominus servum vocat. You've seen this sort of form before. This is nothing new. Now we're going to go down here and we're going to notice that the absunt, the verb, has changed from abest to absunt. And this means that we have a plural here. And so we're going to say now the slaves are plural subjects. And so we see that nominative plural here. And we say servi absunt. But the master calls the slaves now. So we're not going to say servum. We're going to say the plural of that, which is now servos. And again, you can get this from the context here. If you're reading very carefully, slowly and carefully, then you're going to notice that we go from, for example, here liberi is children, but notice how they've changed to liberos here. And that is because here in this sentence, pater et mater et tres liberi, the children are part of the subject of that sentence. They live in the villa, right? They're doing something. They live. They're living in the villa. And then notice here, nt for a plural verb and t for a singular verb. That's going to be important to notice too. So here the children are the subject, but here Julius and Amelia have Notice again, sir, the difference between habitant and habent. That gets lost sometimes. But here, Julius and Amelia have 3 children. So we've gone from nominativus pluralis, nominative plural, to accusativus pluralis, accusative plural. So we go from here, subject, to here, direct object. And I think you'll find that there's a variety of masculine nouns and feminine nouns, and there are even some neuter nouns in here. I'd like to point one out to you right here. Notice the difference between rosa, which is a rose. This is a feminine noun, but lilium is a neuter noun, like oppidum is, like baculum is that you saw last chapter. So they're going to have different plural forms, and they're going to look different as subjects or as singular subjects or plural subjects, and they're going to look different as direct objects as well. Now, one thing that's important here, one last thing before I cut this off, is lilium is singular, but lilia is plural. Here's a neuter singular, and here's a neuter ending. Again, remember oppidum and oppida. So the problem is that lilia is going to look just like rosa. And you're going to think when you see lilia that it is a singular flower of some kind, like rosa here. But this is definitely a different gender. These are feminine and these are neuter. So that's something that you're really going to have to try to pay attention to and notice. And you've seen it before. It's just it's going to confuse you a little bit because these are both flowers, and you're going to be saying, well, why are they different genders? But this is just the way Latin works. There are different genders for all different kinds of things. So keep that in mind. A rosa is a singular subject form of that flower, a rose, but lilia is a plural form for a lily. So I would just notice that, and I think you'll see that down here and down here in those questions. All right, so please take a shot at that. If you could write the whole thing out, and if you feel that you've understood that, then I would like you to try exercise 2 as well, maybe for homework tonight. And I assume that I'll be back tomorrow if my son is better or if my wife can cover here at home. This is obviously new vocabulary, and I'd like you to, again, whenever possible, use the margins to figure out not only which word goes in the blank, but what the context is. And I'll just point out one thing here. Notice how villa, this is a nominative form. That's a subject form, right? The villa, the short A at the end of that noun. There's no long mark over that. But if you put it in this context here, Julius in magna villa habitat, this is right out of the book right here. And notice how it does have that long A. We've seen words change to different vowels when the word in is used. And you're going to notice that there's going to be some prepositional phrases in this chapter where the appearance of a preposition is going to change a noun's ending. We've seen in imperio, and we've seen if you look back at chapter 4, you'll see that in mensa, on the table, is a long A. So use the context from the story to pick the right form of the words that go into here. And I'll leave it at that. I wish you good luck, and please email me if need be, because I will be here. As long as he's sleeping, then I will be checking email.